BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe, with a quick one today. Not a lot to say. I mean, there is a lot to say about this one. As we lead off week 497, random week, I thought I would go with one that's been on my mind of late. It's only been done once back a ways. I can't remember what week that is, but from 1992, Peter Jackson's one of his early salvos, Dead Alive, or aka Braindead. Of course, we just sort of grew up with Dead Alive, right? Sort of the infamous cover art. We would have seen this on the VHS tape in the VHS stores back in the day renting it. This would have been an absolute go-to, along with probably Bad Taste and maybe even Meet the Feebles if that was on your shelf back in the day. I can say that because of how old I stinking am. But Peter Jackson, man, a couple of notables. First of all, Vidmark, yeah, put this out back in 92 on Vidmark Entertainment, put this out on VHS back in the day. That's probably what we would have rented for those of us who did. Peter Jackson, man, he's got a cameo in here along with his wife, Fran Walsh. She, of course, is just a woman at a park, and he is the Undertaker's assistant. But the real story, man, revolves, of course, around Lionel and Paquita. This sort of a match made in heaven? It really just depends. What was the key word from the tarot cards? Oppression. Yeah, before they can have their happy ending and go off into the sunset, they gotta go through a lot of Gru, some nasty type of zombie Gru that really begins. This is a great movie, man. It really is. And I had it on my mind because I recently saw Evil Dead Rise, and the amount of gore, man, in that movie. I don't know if I've seen another movie since that. Maybe Dead Alive, man, that really brought the gory mess, man. The kind that just gets us going, right? That we love, right? Those of us who are gore hounds. Fun gore, though, right? Richard Taylor, man, one of the key special effects artists on this movie. Also, recently, I noticed was one of the contributors on that new movie X. This was shot on 16 millimeter, which gives it that nice look that I love and appreciate. The cinematographer, known for a lot of underwater work, which is kind of neat. I think so. One of Peter Jackson's early films. If for some odd reason you've never seen Dead Alive, the goriest fright film of all time, according to the New York Daily News. Well, I don't need to learn from them. It is one of the goriest films of all time. Just think, man. Okay, so real quick story, man. So, well, first of all, I found this, man. That's a story in of itself. I found this for a measly, I think, $8 a few years back. Bottom shelf of a store I used to frequent. Unfortunately, they're closed now. It was called Movie Stop. And, you know, as I am methodic, man, I got to go through every film across every shelf, man, in the horror department. And couldn't believe it when I saw this, man. I did not have a copy of it. And so, I mean, it was a no-brainer, $8 or not. Yank that thing up, and it's happily been in my collection ever since. Although Jackson is promising, apparently, he's going to bring out, I don't know exactly the early years. I don't know what he's going to entitle it, something, but Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and Dead Alive, all on one, I think, box, 4K, nice set, maybe. At least that's what he's hinting at, which would be really super cool. But the story, man, the story begins with a trip to Skull Island, the infamous Skull Island. And if you didn't know, Peter Jackson, in his own tribute to King Kong, his remake of King Kong, there's a little bit of an Easter egg in there involving a Sumerian rat monkey on board the ship. I think the cage is empty, maybe, but it says it on the tag. You know, it's pretty cool. But you begin at there on Skull Island, and our wonderful zookeeper from Wellington, Newtown, the Wellington Zoo, Newtown. They're after the infamous Sumerian rat monkey. This thing that apparently is a hybrid of rats that came off his ship and raped all the tree monkeys or something, and gave this incredible devilish offspring that we call this rat monkey. This thing, man. Let's just say for the Wellington, the things don't end well for him on the island. He ends up getting bit by this thing, man, and the locals who are helping him, man, they just chop him up into pieces, man, because they know what the bite with the scratch means, man, and they don't mess around, man. You're done. And so, you skip ahead. By the way, this movie takes place in the 50s, which is really kind of interesting. So you speed just a tiny bit into Wellington or Newtown. And of course, you catch up with our main characters, Lionel, played by Timothy Balme, freaking awesome guy, man. And Paquita, Diana Penava, I think. I'm not sure how you say her last name, but really the story revolves around their love interest with one another. And poor Lionel, man, he lives under the thumb of his mom, who will not, since the death of his father, and that is a whole unique little story in of itself. Will not let him out far from under her thumb. And when she realizes he's got a love interest, well, man, she is quick to intervene and intervene harsh, man. And she's spying on those two at the zoo of all places, and she gets a little too close to the Samaritan rat monkey cage, and that thing has a bit of a scratch or a bite nibble on her arm. She then does the appropriate thing and stomps its head into the curb of the cage, and then of course it's the whole oh, Lionel. And so he's got to, leave Paquita there and rush her home. And that begins our descent, slow but sure, into the ultimate gore fest madness, man. When she starts to turn, it affects, I think the first one is the nurse who comes to visit, to tend on her. And then it just starts to spread, man. You've got an awesome reverend, man, who is a martial arts champion, man, for the Lord. It's just so many outrageous moments in this movie, man. And it just when you think they're not done, it just continually descends and descends and descends into some pretty incredible places, and ultimately ending, well, I'm not good. Yeah, God, I wish I could assume every single one listening to this has seen this movie, but I'll leave the very end and some of it alone, I guess. Let's just say this: chapter 23. I just noticed they got the chapter listings on the bottom here. Let's just say this: chapter 23, Rebirth. Let's see. I'm just looking for a couple here. Oh yeah, chapter 8, Custard. That, man, that is a gag. That might be one of the mother of all gag scenes, man. Gag, as in gagging on your own. I'm just looking at a Family Matter, chapter 14, Weirdo 15, Stimulant. Oh, here we go. Chapter 19, Innards. Look, this is why we love these movies, man. This movie is a benchmark. And I'm not gonna try to say that Evil Dead Rise surpasses this. There's only one Dead Alive, but it was very, very. It was awesome to walk out of a theater realizing that you have just watched something. And the thing is Dead Alive, I'm saying Evil Dead Rise is a co-production, New Zealand, I believe, and America. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not. But I also. Glenn, our Monday reviewer at BodyBags, says that it's already got a pre-order up for 4K release. So there you go. If you can't make it to the theater for whatever reason, apparently the pre-order is up on Amazon. So take a look for that. So Dead Alive, man. When's the last time you popped this thing in? From 92, Peter Jackson. Hopefully at some point down the road we'll get a 4K release of that. And as long as with the other two that he did. And so at $4.97, man, it's just a random week, man. It's just random stuff, man. It's going to come. And then we'll go throughout the rest of this month as we get closer and closer to the summertime. And yeah, so wrap it up here under 10. As always, we'll leave these things off with Go Bills.